Welcome to the Rebel Wrap-Up presented by Team FYN Sports. Your usual host, Tim Tao, is out. He's got a lot of things going on his plate right now. He's the athletic director over at the county rec department, so he's starting off with basketball, and he's got football playoffs coming up and their Super Bowl. So he'll be joining us back next week, and he'll be taking over. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, I guess, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Tonight we've got Coach Cheatham, as always, and Coach Thigpen, Andre, and Jalen with us. You guys are coming off a huge win against Region Foe Model last week. What was it like? First, kind of, I guess, cold night that we played on. Could you tell a difference? No.
I was wearing long sleeves. So.
Always moving around. Coach Thigpen, the offense this year is playing like at a insane pace, and there's always the opportunity for a big play. What's it feel like to call something in and sit back and just think in the back of your mind like this could go? Like every time you send a play in, you're like, this could go.
I mean, a lot of times is these guys just making me really look good. One of the touchdowns that Jalen even had, it was just an original, just called run play, and I think Luke and Kahutta were talking and said, man, the safety's biting down hard every time. If get your eyes on Jalen, if he's there, throw it. And so sometimes it's not even something I call. So they make me look really good, which is a lot of fun. But I think it's a product of having guys starting for the last 3 years. All four of these guys here tonight have started for 3 years. They've got a ton of reps and a ton of games, and we're playing pretty good up front. And so my job is just get the ball in the hands of good athletes and let them do their thing. So that's a lot of fun.
You mentioned Jalen. Jalen, you had 6 catches for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, right? You were moving the ball well. What was working for you guys specifically you in the tight end spot? What were you seeing differently?
God, I don't know. It's not really a question I'm good at answering.
Their safety was really hot, so you were just
yeah. Their safety's coming up pretty hard. So, I mean, once you can sneak past the safety, once he's flying, pretty much open. It's an easy touchdown.
Speaking on the year as a whole, you've got 23 catches for 423 yards and 6 touchdowns. What's it like kind of having somebody like Luke throwing you the ball, somebody that you can trust and you know, like, if you get open, like, it's going to come my way?
It's pretty good. Just got to be ready to catch the ball. Can't drop it. Got to be a playmaker when time comes to it.
He would have had another one if he would have caught the fake field goal that
Yeah.
I designed so well.
Yeah.
On the first drive, there were 3 people wide open. So
It's a great pass by Hud.
Hud made a great ball. Threw a great ball to him. Set it up. Been waiting for 7 games or 6 games. To get
I pulled that corner perfectly away from you too.
Kind of on the same note as that, Coach, having to dial up different stuff, because you've got that target on your back. I kind of noticed watching Model, they were coming out at the very beginning of the game with some different packages, and they were kind of hiding their tight end, putting their tight end in some different places. Mm-hmm. What's it like for you having to prepare for stuff like that you will never be able to prepare for because you're not going to see it on last week's tape because you know you're going to get their best shot because you are undefeated and leading the region?
I think that's what you get every week now is you're getting everybody's best, and coaches always, good coaches hold back and they hide things and they save them, and so I'm just proud of our staff, offensively and defensively, who are able to recognize things from the box and see different changes and then make those adjustments. And we had to do that some. We had to make some adjustments on offense. We had to make some adjustments on defense. But it's a chess match every time you go out there. You know that somebody is going to give you something different. You're going to see something that you haven't seen, and that you're going to get everybody's best. So what you do on Sunday and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is you plan and you prepare for those changes and you try to have an answer. The biggest thing is you don't let people, offenses and defenses dictate what you do. You have to have a plan to dictate what they do. If they're dictating what you do, you're probably in a bad situation. If you're able to dictate, manipulate where they put people, and that's when then that you can have success. And you gotta be a step ahead of them. So you got to think of more than just what you've seen on tape in the last 3 games. So our staff does a tremendous job, and we get great information from Coach Hyde, Coach Collis, and Coach O'Neill from the box making changes. We get great, like Coach said, we get great information on the field. And I told them after the touchdown to Andre, I called him over and I said, guys, to Jalen, I said, guys, that's amazing because you called the touchdown. You did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because there's a lot of maturity. There's a lot of game time that they've spent over the past 3 years. They know Coach's offense. They feel comfortable making suggestions, and we feel comfortable giving Luke and Jalen, Andre, and Kahutta the green light to go at any time.
Andre, since Coach brought up touchdowns, you've got 3 this year, and Coach is also talking about changes. What changes have you noticed going from your freshman year to this year that you guys have made? Like maybe being in practice or like the mentality, something has had to have changed for you guys to get to this
I
point.
think the biggest mentality is from going from like a losing program to a winning program, and just having that mindset of, okay, we're good enough that we can come out here and we compete, that we can actually show people that we are not like 2-8 as our previous years, but to show them that we're a lot better than that, and that we put in the work, and that we're gonna come and hit you in the mouth, basically.
Can you tell that things are different this year? That maybe you're getting people's best shot whenever you guys were kind of in your down years. Maybe you weren't getting everybody's best shot coming at you.
Yeah, I feel like teams are really like awoke now. They see what we actually bring to the table, and they're gonna give us the best shot.
Okay, Coach, something I wanted to ask you about was you guys have got Chattooga coming up this week, and they're coming off a tough loss to Dade County. Well, they beat Gordon Central last night.
Right.
They're going to be playing 5 games in 19, 18 days, something like that.
I think that's right.
Have you spoken to Steve, their coach over there, about
No,
what
just
they're
talking
having
with
to
the
go
athletic
through?
director. Coach asked me today if I talked to anybody. I know how it is, so I give guys 24 hours or so because coaching wise, you've got to process everything. And so I didn't want to reach out to any of those guys to bother them because I know they're on a short Wednesday, Thursday, Friday preparation, and they're all focused and they're all business. It's a very tough situation, and I think that it's tough on them. I would hate to be in their shoes to play Friday, Tuesday, Saturday, Friday, and keep everybody healthy. I think that it's difficult to put bodies continually pounding for 48 minutes in that kind of time frame. And so, our prayer is that they stay safe and that we can compete together on Saturday and have the best football game we can possibly play. I mean, they're very athletic. They're very good. They have a good scheme. They like to bring pressure. I think athletically they're the best team that we've seen as far as athletes across the board. So, we've got our work cut out for them, and I think that they'll be ready to play. And I know it's tough to play on 4 days rest.
Yeah.
But he does a good job. We'll talk this, towards the end of the week, probably tomorrow or Friday, and nail everything down. But best of luck to them, and I hope they're healthy and can stay healthy.
Speaking of healthy, the big matchup that was supposed to be between you guys and Copper Basin was canceled. Since you guys are playing Saturday, you planning on going down there and watching them? Is Coach going to let you guys off Friday to go watch some football, or no?
We'll have a short day. We'll be done by 5. They can go watch if they want to. I talked to you guys earlier about how some Tennessee teams have already had
their playoff seasons they're shortened because they've had to forfeit because of COVID and stuff. Is that something you guys as players think about, or are you just thinking about what's coming up next on?
I wouldn't say that we think about it too much. I mean, it's definitely on our minds, but other than that, we're just focused on winning.
Does that cross your mind, Andre, at all?
I think it's always in the back of our minds, but I think we got to keep it in the back of our minds and just focus on what's ahead. And as long as we keep playing games, just focus on the game ahead and taking one game at a time.
What about you, Coach Thigpen? Is that? I mean, that's
Yeah, we
got to be
think about
something
it.
you
We
guys
think
are
about it all the
thinking
time.
about
We
all the
think about
time.
we think about
He said, "No, we
yeah.
think about it all the time."
Yeah, it
we,
was.
we think about it all the time.
You know, after the first time when we got canceled against Gilmer, you know, probably 3/4 of the team went online just to try to prevent getting quarantined off of another kid in their class, and just the recommendations from the CDC and even locally, it's just changed so much from the beginning of the year that honestly that was probably the safest thing for most of them. I mean, Andre was out 2 weeks for football, and then he came back for half a day, and he got sent back home because of another situation that happened in another class with another student who had gotten sick. And so it's just hard because just being a kid, this is something that never crossed our mind. The biggest thing that happened to me in high school was when 9/11 hit and we didn't play that Friday, and that game got moved to the end of the season. Going in every day and kind of wondering, is this it? It is scary. Or, you know, to go 9-0 or to hopefully be that way and getting ready to host a playoff game and something were to happen and you just, like you said, those teams in Tennessee, you lose it over nothing you really can control.
You know, and it completely changes the way you approach practice in game situations, because you try to separate as much as you can. You try to move people around. You try to make sure you know which group is with who. If you're on a bus, you try to, you know, there's seating charts and one group on this bus and one group on that bus. Your practice plan becomes like it becomes like a game plan every single day. Well, these kids have done a great job, and we stress every day, you know, be very cautious where you are, where you're with, keeping the mask on, keeping your social distance. We got a lot of football to play, and we know that when we get in the playoffs, if there's a shutdown, it's an automatic forfeit. You're done. You're out. So getting there is one thing. Then once we get there, that's going to be a whole different animal that we have to approach when we get there.
Yeah, that's true. What's it? I mean, like you said, when you were in high school and when I was in high school, we didn't deal with these things. What's it like for you guys? I mean, did you guys go online like Coach Thigpen said? So you guys are online. So there's got to be like, it's a cool thing to see you guys have the community and the family that you guys do as a team when you're not seeing each other face to face every day as a normal high school football team would. Is there, I mean, you've had to change the way that you're communicating with each other a lot. Is there like things that go on outside of practice that you guys, because you are a team, that you can stay around each other and be around each other? Like you guys go and eat and communicate, like hang out outside of practice and build those bonds and relationships that usually you could build from 8 to 3 throughout the school day, but you're not able to now because you're not in school.
I usually use practice time to build my bonds. Other than that, I'm usually at the house. We're getting food.
Honestly, but we do have a group chat on social media, so we can talk to each other. And like, if a few of us want to get together, we do like send it on the group chat, and whoever on the team wants to come, we let them come. So sometimes we bond, but mostly during practice. So.
Well, hopefully you guys can. Hopefully the corona will stay out of Blue Ridge as much as it can, and you guys can keep your own little bubble going. We'll be back with Luke Holloway and Kahutta Hyde for the next segment of Rebel Wrap Up.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Welcome back to the Rebel Wrap Up presented by Team FYN Sports. On the second segment, we've got 2 seniors with us, Kahutta Hyde and Luke Holloway. Kahutta, what I first want to start out with is I was on the sidelines for the first half of you guys' game, and then I rode down to Union County and watched the second half of their game. But in the first half, I saw you absolutely tattoo a kid on the defensive side of the ball, hit him right in the mouth, and get everybody fired up. Right, I think towards the end of the first quarter, maybe. I wanted to ask you, for George Kittle get asked this question, whether he like catching touchdowns better or pancaking people when he's blocking. What do you like better? You like scoring, or you like hitting somebody playing defense?
I like the big hits better than scoring.
The big hits. Mm-hmm. How do you keep your poise when something like that does happen, or maybe something bad happens on the offensive side, and then you've got to go back on the defensive side and play defense right after?
Well, having to play both sides of the ball, you have to just forget about any mistakes you make and just put them out of your mind, because you've got 100 more snaps coming through the whole game, and after something happens, you can just make up for it the next play.
Coach, what kind of an asset is it and I know like around here in this area with these smaller schools, you've got to have people that can play on both sides of the ball. What kind of an asset is it to have a player like Kahutta that is in the top of your offense and also the top of your defense?
Well, you know, it's special, and I think that one of the biggest things that we've developed over the last 3 years is we've developed depth. And if you look at our offense and defense, we only have about 2 or 3 players that really overlap, Kahutta being one of them, Jalen being at defensive end sometimes. I can't think of
Reese and Andre.
And Seth Reese. So as you build a program, you develop depth. Whereas in the past, we were playing basically with 18 guys on both sides. Now we're playing basically with 20, 21 guys that can go, you know, one way, not by choice. But it's good so that they can rest. Now Kahutta is one of those guys that we can't rest. I mean, he's a guy that's got to be on the field the entire time. From a offensive standpoint, you've got to honor this guy's ability. You either got to double cover him, you've got to man him if you're good enough, and if you man him, you've got to have some kind of help over the top. From a defensive standpoint, he's the quarterback of the defense. He's sitting back there at free safety. He's looking at coverages. He's looking at formations. He's calling things out, and he's got to decide whether he's going to come up and make the big hit or he's going to drop in coverage and cover somebody up. So we can't afford to have him off the field. I wish we could give him some more rest sometimes, but he's conditioned now to where he knows, even in practice, that, you know, we go for 2 hours. He's got 2 hours of reps. And Luke the same way. I mean, when Luke in practice, if Luke's not running our offense, Luke's running the other team's offense. And he could easily be playing outside linebacker or secondary for us right now. We got to take care of the guy, you know, because he's fragile sometimes.
So, Coach Thigpen, does that factor in with maybe if you see Kahutta and then he's on a long defensive drive, does that factor into when you get the ball back, what plays you're going to dial up instead of sending Kahutta like streaking down the sideline? I mean, you're going to send him underneath.
I mean, if it was a 12-play drive and I know he's tired, you know, the first thing I don't want to do is call something that's going to kind of wear him out. And again, like Coach was saying, that's my hardest job on offense is knowing that I've got 6 very capable guys that could probably get the ball every play and trying to get them all enough touches to make us be able to compete. And it's just kind of depending on what the defenses do from week to week. It changes some. You know, against Union, Andre had a huge game and had several catches because nobody's really kind of looking at him. When the next week, they were all over him and it opened up Jalen. 3 weeks ago against Pepperell, they were so worried about everything outside. Luke ran for 230 yards. Banks was not going to let Kahutta touch the football. They just and credit him with the maturity he's gained over the last years. He said, Coach, it's not going to happen tonight. But they're leaving. If I've got 2 or 3 on me, somebody else has got to be open. Just get them the ball. So yeah, you definitely want to be mindful of your guys playing both ways in those situations. But at the same time, if it's a big drive and they know it's time to go, then I know that I can trust them to go make a play, and we'll go get it.
Speaking of making plays, you and Luke, you and Kahutta both have this rapport that you've built, I guess, over the years. Did you guys grow up playing ball together?
We did.
Yeah, it's like 6th grade.
Past 6-8 years. The connection's been there.
So you've got full faith in Kahutta whenever you see him that you can throw it up and you know he's going to run.
He's going to get it.
Is that you feel the same way with all the guys on your team?
I really do.
Just
all
complete trust the whole way through and through.
They all have their strengths, but I know at the end of the day, if it's one-on-one, I like him against anybody.
Well, maybe not one-on-one, but one play I did see when you guys broke down into your 2-minute drill at the end of the half. Somehow I never saw Kahutta in the back of the end zone, and I just saw you chunk it up, and then 2 more defenders. and then somehow Kahutta just emerges between the two.
I guess
of
they
them.
thought it was Andre, and then like jumped on his head, and Kahutta was wide open.
Yeah, I saw all of them running together, so I just decided to back up a couple steps, and it worked.
Look, you've got around 1,300 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, only 1 pick this year. Also, 465 yards rushing, 6 TDs on the ground. Just coming off a 5-touchdown game last week, 4 through there, I think 1 on the ground. What were you able to see from their defense that you were like, yeah, could you tell going into it, you're like, yeah, this is going to be a game?
Yeah, that first drive, it was tough. Like they said, we had to pull out the little fake field goal, and it was there, but we dropped it. But they were playing hard. I was impressed with them up front. They were very physical, and then we were able to just step on the gas and didn't look back until the fourth quarter.
Speaking of the fake field goal, what you've got to be mad.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, that's something that's something we've worked on since, it's like July, August, and you hold that thing and you hold it and you hold it and you hold it and you hold it, and you get in a situation. And I looked at Chris and Coach Thigpen, Coach Kuhn, and I said, listen, if we get a 4th down right here, I said, we're going to fake it. We're going to claw, which was what we call it. And so everybody in the region, you can know, if you see me calling claw, we're going to fake field goal. And it was set up perfect. And we had 3 guys wide open. And if Jalen would have had a defender on him, he would have caught it. But I think we were so shocked that we were so wide open that he hit him and dropped it. But Kahutta was a little upset that he dropped his touchdown pass.
That's well, obviously we saw that play Friday night, and then I saw kind of the Chiefs with a fake punt against the Jets, and I was kind of thinking the same thing, like, oh, you wait all year, and then the situation presents itself, but then you're the Chiefs, and it presents itself against the Jets, but you still have to feel like you have to call it in and run it this way. I know you've still got more tricks up your sleeve, but do you kind of feel like your hand is forced in certain situations to have to call something in like that?
There are more things under the hat, and so you pick and choose your battles wisely. We're still early in the season, and because it's a 15-game season, so there are more things up there, and we'll hold them as need be, and then we'll use them as need be. And I think all coaches are the same way. You don't want to show too much, but there are certain situations where I thought that at that point where we got stopped on that 3rd down, and we had a chance to score, and we were in that between field goal range and touchdown range, we had to take the shot. Fortunately, we come back and blocked the punt right behind it. That was gigantic. So that led to the first score, and then it snowballed from there.
Speaking of punts, I think something that kind of gets brushed under the rug is that you were coming into this year as an all-state punter, and then we saw kind of why on Friday night when in the first half again when there was a bad snap and you have to fall back and you punt it and still net 50 yards off the punt.
I don't even know. I haven't even looked at it. I guess it was just like the initial thought was that thing shot over my head. I can jump on it, but it was right there. It was at the 10 or 5 yard line. I'm like, well, I'm going to pick it up and turn around and see where they're at. And they were still 10, 15 yards away. So I'm like, well, something's better than nothing right here, I guess, whether I shank it in the crowd or what. But it actually ended up working out good.
All right. Well, we've got time for one more question. I wanted to ask you guys you guys played really great against Model. What's one thing that you want to improve on going in this week against Chattooga?
Better get ready for man coverage.
Yeah, and taking more advantage of our opportunities. Like when we get the chances, scoring more than not. Like catching those touchdown passes, picking up the blocks that we need and stuff like that.
Especially the touchdown passes that a wide receiver and a strong safety throws, right?
I would say just identifying and picking up the blitzes just from all over in the different slants and and stuff from their D line. Just be ready for all tricks at this point because, like you said, we're 6-0. Everybody's going to give us their best.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Tim, it'll be back to regular scheduled programming. Tim will be back next week, and he'll highlight these guys' game against Chattooga. That's all for the Rebel Wrap-Up, and we'll see you next week.